First thing first, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
What's up?
So before I go into the music, I'd
Uh-huh.
like to go back to the beginning.
Okay.
And well, your father was a musician.
Yeah, he still is. He's a singer.
What kind of music did he play for you growing up?
Man, I know one of the main ones was Nina Simone,
Okay.
and he would always play her stuff, and I'd be like, her voice is so like different. Like, who is this lady? And he was like, this is Nina Simone. Like, you need to get on this right here. So listen to this. This is music. And yeah.
And once you kind of understood who Nina Simone was, what did you think?
Man, now I can't live without her music. It took a little bit for me to understand and adjust to like her voice tone, but I just know it was very original. And when you hear her, you know that's Nina, and I absolutely love her now. Like another was Sade, Roberta Flack, what's this? Norah Jones was one, Diana Krall, and then later on in my mid-teens, I got into Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan, you know, all those awesome jazz singers.
Did you ever have a period where you rebelled kind of against the type of music that your father listened to?
Not really, because soul and jazz are just what I absolutely love, and that's kind of what I guess what he always played. Also, you know, one thing I did like was classical piano.
Okay.
Though, and nobody in my family really did that, so I guess if that counts. I was like, I want to learn Chopin, so I played a little Chopin, a little Liszt, a little Rachmaninoff stuff too.
So what was that when you picked up the piano?
I started playing piano when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
A friend of my father's fell on hard times, and she had this old upright piano that meant the world to her. It was like her baby. And they were going to just throw it out in the street because she didn't have where to put it. So my dad was like, all right, we'll take it in the house until you get on your feet. And then 2 days after we got the piano, I saw it, and I was like, hey, cool. And I went downstairs and tried to pick out a melody on it. It was Moonlight Sonata. Are you familiar with that?
Sure,
Beethoven?
yeah.
And my dad heard me, and he was like, I see you just trying to use one finger. Let me show you how to do that. So then he gets on there, and then he plays like a ghetto version of Moonlight Sonata. Anyway, I played it back real quick, and he was like, that's pretty good. He said, I'm going to get you some lessons. And do you know the Wooten brothers?
No.
Victor Wooten is he was rated #1 bassist for like 2 or 3 years in a row, something like that, in the world. Anyway, they live in Nashville. The Wooten brothers taught me how to play. They showed me my first jazz chords on the piano, and I've been hooked ever since.
So, was it the instrumentation first, or did you sing by then as well?
Definitely instrumentation first.
Okay.
Yeah, at first I didn't ever want to sing.
Why not?
Because I don't know, shy, and I thought I wasn't comfortable with it at all. And my dad would get me and my 2 younger sisters in the living room, like randomly on days, and make us sing. He's like, okay, girls, now you're all gonna sing. We're gonna be like a little choir now. And he'd make us sing his little gospel hymn, Thank You, Lord. It's like, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. And so like that. So we would start crying. We didn't want to sing. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Come on, babe, you can sing. Come on. Thank you. So yeah, but eventually got more serious. I got serious with singing when I was about 13 or 14. My dad gave me Norah Jones' first record.
So was it Norah Jones that made you kind of fall in love with singing?
And you know why? Because, I don't know, I guess because she was true to who she was, but she was playing sort of jazz, you know, soul, crossover music. But seeing her as a young woman, and I was young, it really is what inspired me ultimately.
And well, you mentioned that jazz and soul has always been your thing.
Yeah.
What can you find in jazz that you can't find in other types of music?
Man, I think there's something about jazz. It's really colorful. There's a lot of colors to work with if that works. I'm a painter. I draw and stuff. So when I think of jazz, I see lots of different opportunities of chord changes. And does that make sense?
Sure.
A lot more emotions to work with. Music is emotion put to sound. In my dad's words. So all music is like that, but to me, that's jazz. That's how I interpret it.
And well, you mentioned Norah Jones and getting into singing. How long did it take you to feel confident in your singing abilities?
It took a little bit. I remember when my whole family left the house, and I got on our piano, and I was just singing my heart out, and I was like, I need to get better than this. So I just kept singing in private. And then eventually, that's right, man, it's coming back to me now, but when I was 15 years old or 16, I think 15, I debuted. I finally came out of my shell. I was like, I will now sit down and play the piano for a bunch of people. I practiced this long. My dad's heard me occasionally, but nobody else ever heard me sing. And I did The Nearness of You on the piano, which was Norah's last song on her record, which ultimately inspired me to do what I do today.
Okay. And how did that go?
It went really good.
Okay.
It was at a camp. It's a music camp that's popular in Nashville, Tennessee. It's called Kids on Stage, and it just helps promote kids that are wanting to do something in the arts, be it acting, writing, singing, and stuff. So that's where I did it.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned this because I went on your Instagram and I saw some paintings as well.
Oh yeah.
Can I assume these are yours?
Yes, I did. Man, I've been painting since I was like 3.
Okay.
Because we have like, my mom dated him back when I was a kid. I was probably drawing like elephants and stuff. I don't know.
But so you have all these different kind of artistic expressions. What can you express in your paintings that you can't with music?
What can I that I can't with music? Is what you're asking?
Or is there a big difference in those artistic expressions for you?
There might be, but in a way I kind of see more similarities, I would say, because like I was saying, jazz is colorful. I like all the colors. I like the complexity of it. And most of my work is fairly on the more detailed side, I guess. I'm into detail and stuff like that. And I guess that's a good way to explain it. I actually got to draw Prince.
I saw that one.
Did you see the video where I drew him from scratch to the end? Well, we did a time-lapse video, beautiful ones by Prince, and I have a plain piece of paper and I draw him, and at the end of the video I'm completed with the picture, and I actually got to send that video to him, and he said the video made him cry, and then he said he wanted that picture, so when I played for his 30th Purple Rain anniversary, I brought the drawing and I got to give it to him, and it's still in Paisley Park to this day.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it there in January this year, 2016.
And well, I didn't know when it was painted, so I thought it might have been a tribute after he passed away.
No, it was actually before, and I actually physically gave it to him. I actually did 2 pictures for him. Yeah.
What did he? Because obviously he invited you to come over. He liked your singing. What did he tell you? What kind of advice did he give you?
Man, one thing I tell everybody now, I start telling everybody this because I've lived it. Is he would always tell my dad too. Prince and my dad, I have to give it to them. Is be true to who you are. Don't let people will. If you give it to them, they'll tell you what you should be or do. But you got to be true to who you are. And that's what he always encouraged.
Is that a difficult thing to do in the music industry?
It can be, yeah. Yes, it can be very hard. But it can really pay off too. So I took that chance and I went with it, and I feel like it's paying off now. And people are like, wow, they're hungry for this fresh, this new sound. It's stripped down. It's not overproduced stuff, and there's not as much of that out there anymore.